good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the award-winning Fan Show. Wrong button. It is Tuesday, February the 5th, and of course, it's been a while since we've done a Tuesday episode, so that's probably why I hit the wrong button. But it's all right. We've got a great episode for you tonight. In fact, one of our guests is our first Alliance of American Football guest that we are going to have right here on the Fan Show. Malik Boynton of the Memphis Express will be joining us, and his teammate Fabian Guerra, formerly of the Carolina Cobras, will be joining us tomorrow night. Steven Adams, though, is our second guest tonight. You guys may remember him from when we did our College Gridiron Showcase Player Spotlight, and he was the quarterback turned punter. And of course, what better time to start off the week than with the hot topic that is punting. So that will take us into today's headlines. Headlines, of course, brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises. If you want anything customized, business cards, t-shirts, hats, socks, shoes, trophies. They don't do fishing lures yet, and actually, you guys have wanted to see this if you're watching on Facebook Live. So this is our the Fan Show Outdoors Division custom lure that Willamette Weapons made for us, and we're looking to do some more stuff with him spring and summer, as well as with all-star bass fishing. But with the exception of fishing lures, Dynamite Enterprises can really customize anything. Like I said, business cards, t-shirts. We have that tablecloth that you saw from the Player Spotlight interviews from CGS. That was fantastic. And then they're going to do a backdrop for us. They do trophies. They do beanies. They do gloves. They do koozies, all kinds of stuff. And they do stickers. We have the Fan Show stickers as well. So if you need something customized, if you want your logo on it or your artwork, you need to hit up Ethan at Dynamite Enterprises. So dynamiteenterprises.com, or just reach out to him directly, Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com, and he can get it done for you. So there's not a whole lot of headlines today. I mean, there's stuff that happened over the weekend, obviously, but as far as where we're at with our headlines and the stuff from around the world of music, pop culture, wrestling, and robotics, there's not a whole lot. So first and foremost, though, we have crowned a new Super Bowl of all things rock and roll champion. That's right, from the music division of the Fan Show, the reigning, defending, undisputed champion of all things rock and roll. We have crowned ours for Super Bowl rock and roll number 9. 2019, and it is back-to-back. That's right, repeat. Queen has won their third title. Them and the Foo Fighters are now the only bands with 3 titles between them, and they had to beat who to get their third one? The Foo Fighters. So that was a lot of fun. Thank you all that voted and participated. Next year is going to be the 10th anniversary. Never thought that would happen. I thought I was going to give up after 3. Maybe. But we will have our 10th anniversary. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hoping to have a lot of participation and stuff. But it's always fun the week of the Super Bowl. Pro Bowl wraps up, and then we start. 64 bands enter. There are 4 categories, and one emerges as champion. And for the third time, and for the second year in a row, it is Queen. Makes sense. Bohemian Rhapsody, I mean, if we want to talk pop culture, Bohemian Rhapsody did have a killer year at the box office. They've already won numerous awards, including Rami Malek for his portrayal of Freddie Mercury. So it made sense. I knew that was probably going to be a driving force, but there was a few bands that hung around in there pretty long that I was surprised to see. Linkin Park normally doesn't make it past the third round. They were in there for a while. And, Queen versus the Foo Fighters. Doesn't get much better than that. We might mix up who faces who in the Final Four, because it's classic rock versus pop punk or punk rock, and then it's regular rock versus alternative rock. We might flip that, but no one from the alternative rock category has ever made it to the championship. I thought Weezer might do it, but they did not. And, of course, Metallica in the regular rock category, though, I think they should be moved to the classic rock category. So we'll see what happens next year for number 10. It's crazy to think about. So the 10th anniversary of the Super Bowl of all things rock and roll next year. Congratulations to Queen for winning this year's. And then, let's see. So the Hells Bells episode, of course, you can go and check that out for you music fans, AC/DC fans especially. The all-female tribute band. Had a lot of fun talking to those ladies. And let's see. Lego Movie comes out this week. Excited for that. That's pop culture news. Wrestling, though. Wrestling news. The WWE SmackDown Live Tour, pregame Pandemonium, Road to WrestleMania. There was a lot of different names for it. But, yeah, it was pregame Pandemonium at the Spokane Arena, and that was Sunday before the Super Bowl, and it was more exciting than the Super Bowl. Way more entertaining, but that's my own personal opinion. There was a triple threat, Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe, and Mustafa Ali. I thought that was the match of the night. Fatal 4-way for the U.S. title, and that was R-Truth, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rusev, and who am I forgetting? Andrade. Cien Almas. I will say the last part of his name, even though WWE went and hacked off half of it. But it was a great turnout, a lot of fans, a lot of fun, and there was some local celebrities in the house. My wife got seated next to UFC fighter, winner of the Ultimate Fighter from Spokane, Washington, East Valley High School to be exact, Mike Chisa, and we'll hopefully have him on to talk some wrestling in UFC. I thought he was going to get up and go challenge one of them and try to take home the belt himself, but no, it was great to see everybody out there, and thank you, WWE, for working with me and allowing me to cover the event, take some photos. Photos are up on the Facebook page now. You can go and check those out, the WWE Live Spokane. And I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun. They need to come back more often. They need to come back and do an actual live, like a Raw or SmackDown. But the house shows work out pretty well. BattleBot Season 4 still not confirmed. All-Star Bass has a tournament coming up. And, of course, we'll probably talk to Bobby Brown in the upcoming weeks to discuss that a little bit more. And let's see, anything else around the world? Oh, yeah. So there was the Super Bowl. It was a punter's duel, also known as the Super Bowl. The irony is that a punter was not on the nominees list for most valuable player of the game, despite the fact that the punters for both teams were hands down the most valuable players of the game. So it is what it is. Julian Edelman won because the Patriots won another Super Bowl. That's 6. I got nothing. Look, Tom Brady and Belichick continue to wreak havoc on the league, and I'm bored. I like parity. And I know it seems hypocritical of me to say that as a Niners fan, but keep in mind, I was born in '86, so I don't know what this dynasty feeling is that you speak of. Like, what's that? What does it mean to be a fan of a dynasty? So, yeah, 13-3. Final score. Rams put up 3 points. Props to their defense, keeping Patriots under 20. That's not something that is done easily. And there was a few moments in there where I thought for sure this was it, but then the other team goes and makes a mistake. Jared Goff threw a dime to his receiver. I believe it was Cooks. And it would have been a touchdown, but he dropped it. And then I think the next play, he threw an interception. And it wasn't even close. The first pass, the would-be touchdown, was a dime. Like, it had to be right there in order for his receiver to even have a chance at it. And the next one was just, like, it's a game of inches. It is. It's insane. And the Patriots know how to get every mile. You give them an inch, they will take that football mile. And they're champions of the football world again. So, Yes, discrimination against punters. Pat McAfee feels that it is positionism. People are positionists. I don't know, but Steven Adams and I had a great conversation about punters. So we're going to do that one after the Malik Boynton interview, a member of the Memphis Express. The AAF, just when you thought football was over, it's not. It's not over yet. We got AAF football coming up this week. And then, of course, indoor football, arena football is coming up at the end of the month. So football's not over, folks. That's is that what you would call an old wives' tale now? It's a myth. It's something along those lines, but football's not over in February anymore. And if you're still somebody that is up on the high horse that football, real football, is over in February, I don't know. Why are you listening to this show? I don't know, because that's not the case at all. So good times, you know. I think this AAF is onto something, and I think it's going to be dubbed as a farm or developmental league for the NFL. NFL Network is going to be airing some of their games. And it's funny to me because I've been beating the drum of the NFL needing a developmental league since I started this show. And now everybody's like, oh, developmental league, farm league, spring league for the NFL. It's a great idea. Really? Now it's a great idea? Okay, whatever. I see how it is. But real quick, All-Star Bass Fishing, because I wanted to make sure that I gave Bobby Brown some love here. We've got the 10-mile, yes, at Osprey Point Pub and Pizza, Lakeside, Oregon. That is this Saturday, the 9th, at 6 a.m., and there are teams, and they will do check-in is at Friday, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday. You can check in 5 a.m., 6:30 a.m., and then blast-off is at 7:30 a.m., and then weigh-in is at 3 p.m. So All-Star Bass Fishing, the 10-mile tournament, as you can see it right there. Should be a good time if you're in the Oregon area. Go and check it out. Go and cheer them on. And I'm trying to think if there is any other stuff that I wanted to discuss with you guys. The WWE event really was the highlight of my Sunday. We missed the whole first quarter, and when we got home and cooked the wings and everything, it was like, meh. I mean, it didn't feel like a Super Bowl Sunday. It didn't. It felt weird, which isn't a feeling that just I have from it. There's a few people I've talked to that were like, it didn't feel like a Super Bowl Sunday. I don't know what it was. Yeah, but okay, can you really count NFL Europe? Because that's in another country. In order for stuff like this to work, and thank you, Adam Lampert, for bringing that up. Yeah, they did do the NFL Europe thing, and there's a few guys that came from there, Kurt Warner. But Kurt Warner also played in the Arena Football League, too, and they don't give that any love. And that's at home. That's here in the States. But for the American public to buy into something, it's got to meet like a criteria. And one of them is it's got to be here. You know, they've got to be able to go out and actually be part of it and experience it in order for them to be part of it. And I don't know if that was the problem with NFL Europe, if it was bad marketing. I mean, we're talking about a time before social media. That could be the case because the AAF has played the social media game perfectly. They have done very well on all fronts. And as someone who works in social media and does a lot of social media, I can tell you that I have been in the know for the stuff that they've had going on and coming up this weekend for their kickoff since the whole thing started. And that's a tribute to their marketing team. Well done. It's what I don't know if they had that in the 90s, but it's got to be marketed well. You've got to have faces involved in it that people know. Hines Ward being your liaison, your guy, your point of contact, the face of your organization helps a lot because there's not a lot of people that follow football that don't know who Hines Ward is. So where it's at, stateside, who's the face of it? You've got Hines Ward. Okay, who are some of the big names that are in this? Spurrier, Singletary, Martz. And then you've got a bunch of guys that were second or third string to the guys that we know and love today in the mix, and a lot of very familiar names that maybe didn't get as far into the professional careers we thought they would after college. everything about the AAF was done right. They weren't throwing in no names, and so I just think that everything that needed to be done correctly for the AAF to succeed without even having played a single down officially yet has been done very well. The question is, where are they getting their money from? But I don't think that's going to be too big of a concern if you've got CBS airing your games, and that's perfect too. They were the station that did the Super Bowl. So all Super Bowl, you have little promos for this new league that's going to be happening. I mean, that's perfect. Then the NFL Network is going to air it. So I'm excited to see what happens. And, of course, Guerra and Boynton and myself, we talk about how it's not just an expansion team. It's an expansion league. Everything that they do this weekend forward is the first that any of it's going to be done for them. And I think that that's huge for them. So, yeah. The AAF is that they're in bigger towns than the NFL. Yeah, there's a few teams that have professional teams. So both of these guys are with the Memphis Express. And Memphis has a team. It's Tennessee Titans, but it's, in the Memphis area, I think. Yes, correct. Okay. But San Diego, football used to be there, and now football's back since the Chargers left. Birmingham doesn't have a pro team, so they will have one now. San Antonio does not have a pro team. They will have one now. But Texas, though, is home to two pro teams, right? The Cowboys and the Texans. And then I think there is one other spot because Orlando gets a team, but Florida has three teams already. So obviously another good football market for that state. Maybe not that city, but we'll see. And what was the other city that already has a team that this is just kind of adding to it? I know I'm forgetting one. Salt Lake, no. Salt Lake does not have a professional team really of any kind, so that's huge for them. What is the eighth team? Who am I missing here? Birmingham, Memphis, Orlando, San Diego, San Antonio, Salt Lake, and Arizona, the Hot Shots. They already have a team, the Cardinals. So you're getting kind of a mixed bag here. Teams that are in cities where they don't have any professional teams and states or cities that do. And I think that'll be a lot. And let's see. Yep, forgot about Memphis. Oh, hey, Phil Barnett. Gary and I talked about you. You'll hear that tomorrow night. It was good stuff. It's good stuff. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do our first interview here with Memphis Express player. He's made the 52-man roster, Malik Boynton. And then coming up after that, QB turned punter, Steven Adams. So if you're watching me on Facebook Live right now, you need to click the link. You need to go to Spreaker.com. You can hear these in these entirety if you've got time now. Otherwise, you'll have the option to subscribe, iTunes, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio. Download them. But this is where we say adieu to the Facebook Live peeps. And don't forget, there's a chat on Spreaker.com right now. You can still be a part of the conversation. So we will see you guys over there. Alrighty? So thanks for tuning in. Here is Malik Boynton of the Memphis Express. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us now is a member of one of the 8 new Alliance of American football teams who everything for them will start after the football February 9th. It is a member of the Memphis Express, Malik Boynton. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I got to say, this whole Alliance of American football is very intriguing to me. I'm excited. I'm curious. I'm all of the above. But what are your feelings, man? Like, you're gonna actually play in it for one of the 8 new teams, and this isn't just an expansion team. This is an expansion league, so to speak. Everything that you guys do when kickoff comes around will be the first that anything has been done in this entire league.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. I mean, it's definitely special. But I look at it as another opportunity, and I take it like every day. Like I appreciate every day because not a lot of people are blessed with this opportunity and another chance to just put on the uniform, whether it's for an arena league, college. It don't matter. Like we all play this game because we got love for the game. And I just thank God that I got this great opportunity.
Yeah, and that's really what it all comes down to is opportunities. Like I said, when I first got you on the phone, you also are on the team. You made the 52-man roster with my guy, Fabian Guerra from the Carolina Cobras last year. And we'll be talking with him a little later on. But I swear, you guys, there's no quit in you guys. And all you ever want is just an opportunity to shine, which I think is awesome. There's a tweet that you pinned, and it says, "I'm currently sitting on $15, sleeping on my brother's couch in Tennessee. I don't want help. All I ask is you remember this tweet." So what's your journey? Give us a little background, because that sounds like something where, people definitely counted you out, and now you're in, and you couldn't be happier about it.
Oh, absolutely. I worked out every day with a goal of being where I am today. Well, with the ultimate goal of being in the NFL, ultimately. But yeah. I know the process. I'm a realistic thinker, and I have high expectations for myself. And my journey here is just like all those underdogs, like Fabian, like true underdog story where you got to work your way to the top. You're not granted with, the ideal opportunities coming up, and you just got to keep grinding and grinding. And when you get knocked down, you just got to claw your way back up. You never fall flat on your face, and you just keep fighting. I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, and growing up, I lived a pretty good life. And I lost my mother to breast cancer when I turned 14.
Oh, wow.
And entered high school. And that's when my life took a turn. And it could have been for the worst, but I like to say it as, that was the best thing that could happen for me in a selfish way. I lost my mom, but I gained so many life lessons through it. You have no option but to be tough when your only option is to be tough. You know what I'm saying? And that stuck with me throughout life, and every obstacle I've faced since then, it's just been you don't react to it. You don't react, you respond. And I got that from my head coach, Will Healy. You don't react, you respond. You don't complain. You figure stuff out.
Yeah, that really hits me deep. Now, I've lost family members myself. I imagine most people have, unless there's some odd circumstance where, you either don't have a very extended family or you guys are, invincible and immortal. But my grandfather was very special to me. He was a Navy vet, and although I've never served myself, I have tremendous amount of respect for armed forces. But he always taught me, that when it came to the Navy or work or anything, he's like, you always conduct yourself as a professional and always take pride in what you do. And a lot of that really resonated with me. And of course, at the time while he was alive, I never quite understood what he meant. And it took him passing, and that was my first year in college that happened. So that was tough circumstances there. But it took, stuff to actually happen in real life in order for me to get that, a few years after he passed. So I don't think it's a selfish way to think of it. There are some, fight or flight moments out there for everybody that can change your entire landscape. And for your mother to pass, but your coach to kind of step in and give you some hard knocks for life, that is life. And I think that what you do with that is what defines you as a person. And here you are, a member of the Memphis Express, and you're going to play professional football. And that, I think, speaks volumes for being able to overcome obstacles.
Right. It's definitely a blessing.
Now, how long have you been playing ball for?
I've been playing football, organized football, since I was 8 years old. But I've been playing, I've always gravitated towards sports since I was about, I'd say, 4. And my dad used to dress us up in football uniforms and stuff like that. And he was a coach. He coached baseball, basketball, football, everything. So, I always that's where me and my dad connected, and that brought us close together. So I always leaned on sports. like the first baby picture I ever took, I had a football in my arm. It's been like that. Like, it was in my blood for real.
Yeah, I completely get that. If it's sometimes it's just there, you don't know how, but it's there. For you though, was there? I know a lot of you guys early ages were involved in multiple sports, and there was a moment or two where your path could have gone down one road, basketball, baseball, but instead it went down football. Now, of course, your mother, being a victim of breast cancer, the NFL, and I know football as a whole, gets very involved in breast cancer awareness. Now, did that have anything to do with why you chose football, or was football something else that happened in your life, a moment that you can look back on and say, yeah, that's probably when I said, I think it's going to be football for me from here on out?
Okay, so growing up, I played, like I said, I played basketball, baseball, ran track, and played football. And oddly enough, like my favorite sport was baseball.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I was a pitcher. So and that kind of ties into being a cornerback. Like every time a batter comes to the plate, it's a one-on-one battle,
Yeah.
So growing up, I loved baseball. Like that was my favorite sport. That was the sport I was best at, everything. So the day my mom passed, we had the Little League World Series, and I was pitching that night, the day they pronounced her dead.
Wow.
And my dad was the head coach, and he asked us if we wanted to still play in the game. So it was no doubt in my mind, like, yes, we playing in the game. So we played that night. I pitched. We won, and they let out candles and balloons and stuff, like, in honor of my mom. And from that day forward, I just was like, it was like the perfect ending to that chapter of my life. Like, losing her, it was like that was my last game, and I did it in honor of her, And I took a break from baseball, and I started playing again my junior year in high school, and I wasn't as good anymore, so it was over on that. Like, baseball wasn't the option no more. But what made me want to pursue a future with football was after my junior year in football season in high school, like the upperclassmen, the seniors, we lost the game to qualify for the playoffs, the Michigan High School State playoffs, and I just saw how crushed they were, and that was probably the closest I ever got with teammates, because I was so used to playing with my family. That was the first team I played for where it was like complete strangers, and we had gotten so close, and to see them so passionate and hurt about, being let down in the sense, it just made me want to pick their brain. And as I picked the brains of these seniors, like a couple of my teammates, like Raheem Hill, Omar Saeed, Dejan Oliver, I talked to them, and I started to understand, like, it was time for me to grow up. Like they told me how that could be their livelihood, and how if they didn't get a scholarship in football, they might not go to college, and just things like that. And I already loved the game, so it was just like, okay, it's time to grow up. Like, I started taking it serious, and I started putting more into it.
Wow, that's awesome, man, and it's very emotional story to hear on my end, and I know for you to tell it, but just to hear how everything, sort of fell into place. We use the analogy of dominoes, and your dominoes are so unique, and I do think that, as bittersweet as it was for your baseball career to kind of end the way that it did, still deciding to play that game, the candlelit vigil, and I know that you tried again as a junior, but obviously, there's certain things in life that you love, that those chapters, they close the way that they do so that it can direct you in life to something bigger and better, even if that wasn't your first choice. And I know that I can attest to that, being here on the microphone with you. I thought I was going to be touring the country with a rock band as a drummer, 10 years ago. So it's crazy where life takes you. And it's taken you to Memphis for the Express. Now, I know a lot of you guys, dumb questions are, what do you think about the AAF and everything? For you guys, what it comes down to is an opportunity, which you and I talked about. But one thing I'm rather curious about is that this is becoming recognized in kind of an official capacity as like a farm league almost for football, or at least a developmental league, because you guys will start after the NFL or after the NFL season as a whole concludes, and you guys will have your season, a championship, and there's already been a few guys that are affiliated with the AAF that have gotten called over to the NFL. So my big question is that for guys like you go and you play in a league like this for a team like the Express for the opportunity to get to the NFL, and 9 times out of 10, that's because the league that you're in, you're a professional athlete, but you don't really get paid like you're a professional athlete. The price gap between NFL, CFL, and arena leagues or semi-pro leagues is so drastic, it's almost ridiculous. That doesn't seem to be the case with the AAF. So, if you guys end up liking the AAF, would it be about trying to get to the NFL anymore? Or is this, do you guys see this as a home for you?
Honestly, my goal as a kid has always been the NFL, and that's going to always be my goal,
Understandable.
But at this point, wherever God leads me, that's just where I'm going to be comfortable with. I'm going to always be grateful no matter where I'm at. I'm grateful now, but I'm not satisfied right now,
Oh, yeah.
But as time goes on and I see how the cards unfold, and I know I put my best foot forward, I'm going to always be okay. If I don't end up taking that next step to the NFL, I can always, I'm going to always be grateful, and I'm going to always be proud to say that the AAF was once my home, or it's still my home at the time,
Yeah, and I think for a lot of you guys, that's nothing to hang your head about. This league looks great. It's got a lot of very, very big names from the world of football. Hines Ward is your guys' I think, player liaison or spokesperson for the league, and you guys have some very big names for head coaches. You've got a lot of names in skill positions like quarterback and such. So, yeah, you guys are going to go out there, and after one version of professional football concludes, we're going to start up a whole new league of professional football. Your guys' first game is February 10th. It's an away game. You guys are going to be in Birmingham to take on the Iron. So you guys just have it's officially February. You guys have 9 days until then. What's your mood? What's your nerves, your jitters, and everything feeling like it with just over a week until kickoff?
I'm just focused on the next day. I'm just focused on putting in the work and preparing for this game. And I'm just ready to get back to it when the team gets back here and we all back together and we all back working for that common goal, which is to go down to Birmingham and leave with a victory. But I'm not even thinking about the game yet. I'm thinking about Monday's practice. I'm thinking about watching film and just being prepared and doing my part so I can go out and perform to the best of my ability.
All right, man. Well, I definitely appreciate your time. This has been a lot of fun. Such a great story, and so much so that I know that we're going to do what we can to have you back during the season. We'll get your thoughts on how things have gone so far if you're not too crazy busy, but it's been a real honor and a pleasure here on my end. He is Malik Boynton of the Memphis Express. Thank you again, man, so much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
All right, man. Well, hey, you take care. You go and put in the work and take it a day at a time, and we'll see you at kickoff.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks again.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
And one more big thank you to Malik Boynton for taking the time. It's always nice to catch up with these guys and hear their experiences and what led them to here and what here means, where they're off to next, what their sights are set on. And a lot of them, they'll tell you it's just about taking it a day at a time. And who am I to argue with that? That's what I'm doing here with the show. So I thank you again for that. And hopefully we'll touch base with him during the season. And now, of course, the interview you've all been waiting for. Punter Steven Adams from Del Val, or Delaware Valley, is on. And what better time to talk to a punter than after the punting duel that was also known as the Super Bowl this weekend. So we had a lot of fun. We had a good talk, and here it is right now. Enjoy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there was so much punting in the Super Bowl, and yet no punter was available for nomination for the MVP of the Super Bowl. But we're going to hear from one anyway. He's the infamous quarterback turned punter. You remember him from CGS, Steven Adams. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Rich. How you been?
Been good. The Super Bowl was meh for me. But it's hard to please me. I'll be completely 110% honest. I love defense, but when there's a low-scoring affair and it's not so much turnovers, but more special teams and punting, it's hard for me to keep my engagement because I need to see some kind of like progress, not saved up just for the last quarter and a half. But for you, being a punter, like was this the greatest game of all time for you ever played?
I'm not gonna lie, I definitely enjoyed it only because I thought Ryan Allen and Johnny Hecker were just absolutely incredible during the game, especially Hecker setting the record for longest punt in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Obviously for football fans, I understand, it's not exactly the sexy game where you're going to get like 35, 38, but I thought it was really, they really had a chance to display just how great they are as individual players and how much they help their teams and how much they contribute to their teams.
Yeah, I mean, special teams is where they say games are won and lost because it's one of the most I don't know if when you're an actual player or a coach or just a member of the team or the roster if it's overlooked, but I think from a fan perspective and obviously from a media perspective that special teams gets the butt end of the stick, so to speak. And for this to be kind of a special teams clinic, field position, punting, distance, making sure that you got the opponent set up. I used to play pool that way. If you didn't have the shot, you took the shot that would set up your opponent to have a bad shot so that then you could get your shot right back. So I get it. I really do. And it was interesting to me to see this displayed because normally I'm all for interceptions, QB strip sacks, taking it to the house, but this was a different kind of game. So I'm glad that someone, especially you yourself, quarterback turned punter, could find this enjoyable and get that sense of accomplishment from it, I guess would be the term.
I think the beauty in special teams is just how it really warrants opportunities for a lot of guys. Look at Julian Edelman. He started out on special teams and goes out and wins Super Bowl MVP. You got a guy like Matthew Slater who has made his career in special teams and has been a seasoned vet for the Patriots. So just having them, I guess, get their shine a little bit and seeing them, overcome adversity through their careers and really having their opportunities to shine. I thought that was really awesome. And like I said, in terms of the punters, I thought it really brought light to just how talented they are. So really, for me, I enjoyed it probably more than the average fan, but I'm a little tied in with it. So yeah.
Yeah, I follow Pat McAfee. Of course, he is a unofficial spokesperson for your guys' position at the punt, at punter. But he was having a field day with that game. He's just like he took a screenshot of his television that said, last, drives this half, punt. And he's like, this is the most amazing game I've ever seen. But speaking of Julian Edelman, okay, starts on special teams. That's fair. It gets the Super Bowl MVP. I'm not saying that it's not deserved, but let's be realistic here. If you're not a quarterback, if you're not a running back, if you're not a wide receiver or a guy on the defense that everybody's talking about, you're probably not going to be in the conversation for MVP, really, of anything. You could be Special Teams Player of the Year, absolutely, but most valuable, that tends to go to one of the sexier positions. And, of course, we're talking about player, not players, because my vote always, well, how'd the offensive line do? Did they allow any sacks? How'd the defensive line do? Did they get through and cost some sacks? But you're looking for one individual who stood out from the rest, and here's this moment, this time that you're probably never going to see again, where it's a punter's duel, and everybody on social media is like, MVP's got to be the punter, and he's not even on the ballot. Is that the greatest injustice for you as a punter?
I think it's just, it plays into the role of the position. You understand being the punter, you're not always going to get maybe the recognition you deserve, like an MVP. I actually, side note, I saw a funny meme. It was Ndamukong Suh looking at the tablet on the sideline, and the Google search said, "Has a punter ever won MVP?" And that was talking about Hecker and just how unbelievable he played, and he kept them in the game for so long. But again, it kind of just comes with the territory, and I think as you continue to play the position, and you just accept that and understand that, and any notoriety you can get, I think obviously is nice, but again, it comes with the territory.
Yeah, and it's very true, and I do enjoy seeing all the aspects of the game being utilized, especially on the stage that is the Super Bowl, because I follow a lot of arena and indoor football, and there's no punting. They can do field goal attempts on fourth down because the distance of the field, you're talking about 50-yard field, and then, of course, when you consider end zone to end zone, and it's like 62, I think, is the max that they could kick. But don't quote me on that. But you don't see punting in that game, and I know that for a lot of spectators and fans, there's been a lot of talk about, why do we even have kickoff? Why do we bother with kickers? Well, you saw, I think, the Super Bowl definitely a strong argument for how special teams is.
No doubt. Absolutely.
So now we turn our focus to the offseason. And, of course, for you and the rest of the guys from CGS, you're counting down the days to either your pro day. Combine is this month. It goes into March, but it starts at the end of the month. You guys have been working out. You guys have been doing drills, basically keeping yourself fresh, focused, and just making sure that you put that best foot forward for whichever event it is that you have circled next on your calendar. What's it been like for you since CGS, and how much work are you putting in on a day-to-day?
Well, since the CGS, it's actually been a very good experience for me. I made built a lot of good relationships down there, and it was, again, just a good experience for me. Since then, I've been back home, still finishing up school at Delaware Valley. So in the interim, when I'm not at school, I've started working out with in Philadelphia with a trainer, Doc Strong Fitness, and he's helping me get my body right. We're working about 4 times a week, and in terms of punting, I started training with Luke Gaddis. He works with one-on-one kicking, and then Mike McCabe. So, I'm just really trying to give myself a good opportunity to be successful. And I know working out with those guys, 7 days a week is going to, prepare me and put me in a good position to be successful.
Yeah, and that's really all that you guys can do, because it's I can't even fathom the anticipation and the anxiety that is what February is for you guys, and you guys only have to go through it once. If you go undrafted, you become a free agent, and I imagine there will be a whole different set of anxiety and anticipation. But it's like your whole college career builds for this moment coming up at the end of the month, and there's no way to really prepare for it, because it's never going to happen to you more than this one time. And so you have to talk to friends, family, acquaintances, people you played with that have gone through it. But what is it like, if you had to describe it? What, this going through the motions, making sure that you're ready for when it's your turn?
I'm not gonna lie. I think just every day, at least for me, I just feel extremely blessed to be in this position. You know the story. I wasn't supposed to be here. This really is just something that really played out in my favor, and I'm extremely blessed and going day by day. I'm just trying to, again, put myself in a position to continue to be successful and give myself an opportunity at the next level. There is that, like you said, that feeling of anticipation. You want the day to come and you want to go out there and showcase your talent, which which is another opportunity that I'm really looking forward to. But I'm just trying to take it day by day and just enjoy every moment of this because, like you said, never going to get it again. And, I just want to make sure that, I don't let a moment go by.
Yeah, it is about the moment. And I hope that you guys definitely enjoy all of them. And then, of course, your moment when it comes to that. For those listening that may have not had an opportunity to see or hear your previous interview with us, you can probably tell it better than I could. But give us a quick Cliff Note rundown of just the obstacles and adversity you've had to overcome to even get where you are.
Yeah, so came into Del Valle as a quarterback, and a couple weeks before the season was asked to punt. Never had played the position before. Kind of just did it a little bit in high school, but nothing very serious. And progressively over the years, I've fought to learn the position and to try and perfect the craft a little bit. And again, it's really worked out in my favor, and I'm very, I've had a lot of success at Del Valle. They put me in a great position to be successful, and I'm extremely thankful for that because, who knows if I stayed at quarterback, if it really would have panned out for me. But obviously, punting worked out for me, so I'm very blessed.
And there's not a lot of people out there that are willing to accept change. I imagine a lot of you guys that played football. I played middle school, high school, and then some flag football during the summertime before and during those periods. But you guys, high school and college, and then of course the pros, completely different beasts from each other. And most of you guys, by the time you get to college, you've sort of settled into what you want to do. You kind of know your skill set, and there's not really anybody that's going to change your mind. But obviously you went from quarterback, top of the food chain, to the punter, who is a thankless job that's not on the MVP ballot for the Super Bowl, despite the fact that they should be. But you see a lot of guys like Tebow, who they're so set on being something, and people say, well, maybe you should try something else. And we've seen a few other guys make the move from one position to another successfully. But you never really know if that's truly where their heart was, what they wanted. Your thoughts on a Tebow? Do you think, he was doing what he honestly believed he was going to be destined for as far as success, or do you think he was being stubborn and maybe should have tried tight end?
I think in his scenario, Tim Tebow is one of the greatest college football players of all time. And I'm sure, through his story, he could probably tell you he had people telling him to move around his entire career, and he stayed where he was, and he had tremendous success at Florida. And, I love that he was able to come into, the league and have the successful year with Denver. And unfortunately after that, it didn't pan out for him. But I think in his case, he believed in his talents and he believed in himself. And, sometimes that's all you need is just the belief that you can accomplish anything you want to. And, as long as you have that, regardless of what anybody else might be saying, as long as you believe in yourself, you can accomplish anything you want. And I think he showcased that when he got his chance with the Broncos.
Yeah, for me it was, I understand that there's captains on the team, any position, and really it's not the position that makes the leader. Anybody can be a leader if they have the right leadership skills. But I think that for him it was more than just being a quarterback. To me, I thought he was a tremendous leader, especially on Denver. He's like, there's audio clips, NFL films, give me the ball, we're going to win this thing. And they went and they won it. And it was the craziest thing. It was like Babe Ruth calling his shot every week that he was quarterback of the Broncos. And he did it against some of the toughest defenses. So I think for him it was more than being a quarterback. It was about being a leader and having a platform to share his message and his beliefs. But obviously, it set him up for something different, and he's still doing what I think he ultimately wanted to do with the NFL. He's just not doing it with the NFL. Is that something that you guys at this stage in your life think about is, things may not go the way that you have dreamt of, envisioned, wanted, But as long as you get the opportunity, and then on top of that, the opportunity to do what you feel your purpose in life is, and that's really what it's all about. Is that something that you've had any time to really think about, and is that how you feel about the subject?
I mean, in my scenario, I actually started out as a basketball player, and I thought I was destined to be in the NBA. And, things have worked out in my life where I'm now punting and have an opportunity to play in the NFL. There's going to be a ton of obstacles that you face in your life where, you're going to ask yourself, is this worth it? Is this something, I want to go through in my life? Am I supposed to be doing something else? I think, any athlete is going to tell you that they've experienced that thought process a little bit. But at the end of the day, when you have a goal and you have something in mind that you want to accomplish, you're not going to let anything stop you, not even your thoughts and not even, anybody else's thoughts. At the end of the day, when you put a plan in motion and you have the belief in yourself that you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish, I think that's the strongest thing anybody can have. And it's really like a wrecking ball, in terms of opportunity coming down the line, whether, regardless of where it is, regardless of what happens, just to have the opportunity to play more and to play the game we love. It may not be the ideal situation. It might not be for your favorite team, or it might not be for your favorite coach, but I think it's just having that chance to display your hard work and your talent. I think that means the world. I know for myself that would mean the world to me, and I can assume that for anybody else who has their opportunity, it would mean the world to them. So.
All right, man. Well, I'm glad that we were able to chat again, do a follow-up from CGS, and I certainly hope this isn't the last time. You guys, always fun to chat with, especially, perfect timing. Super Bowl was a punter's duel, and nobody has more appreciation for that kind of game than you yourself. So, hey, once again, best of luck to you, and I really hope that things pan out however they will, whether it be draft or undrafted free agent signing. But you've got the talent and the focus to be a great asset to any team, and I will be watching, and I'm sure you'll hear from me in the interim. But keep your head up, stay sharp, stay focused, and we look forward to seeing what happens with the future of Steven Adams from Delaware Valley. I thank you again so much, man.
Thank you so much for having me. Awesome. Thank you.
All right, you take care of yourself.
Yeah, you do the same. Thank you.
All right, and once again, thank you, Steven Adams, for joining me as our CGS follow-up series. I guess if there was to be a name to put to it, but that is kind of what we're doing with February. All those guys that we talked to, because the Combine is at the end of this month, and then the draft, April. I mean, it's already right around the corner. The future is now. And, of course, right now, if you missed any of the live broadcasts, you can go and hear this episode in its entirety if you subscribe or download the episode on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And then, of course, we broadcast to you live from Spreaker.com, which is where you can tune in every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, unless, of course, something comes up. But we'll let you know. There will always be the podcast form available. That's the important thing. So thank you so much for giving us a listen this evening. And don't forget to check out Dynamite Enterprises, Undisputed Belts, and to follow us on Twitter at FanShowOfficial. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/FanShowOfficial. And follow along our adventures on Instagram as well, The Fan Show. Thank you again, Fan Nation, and until next time, best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners, and remember, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.